Let's go!
What is up, everybody? What is up? We are live here on a Wednesday afternoon here on the PGHChris Show. I am your host, PGHChris, and tonight, this afternoon, we got some juicy things to talk about. First off, I am sick and tired of seeing ESPN analyst and Stephen A. Smith and all these people who I really like interview these pro wrestlers on their talk shows. We get into that. We get into the new rumors about the college football expansion with the American football. What's it called? I know it's the AFCA. I think it's the American Football Coaches Association. They have some recommended changes to the college football calendar, which we will talk about today, and we will talk about the latest rumors on Aaron Rodgers coming to Arizona. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be a Cardinal? Is he going to come back to Pittsburgh? Or is he going to retire? Those three questions are yet to be answered, and we will talk about that and more here on the PGHChris Show. Again, I am PGHChris. We are sponsored and partnered here, as always, by G Fuel. Don't forget to use your code 20% off of your G Fuel at PGHChrisTV. Go to gfuel.com/PGHChrisTV or go to gfuel.com. Get what you want and using your promo code PGHChris, and you will get that same 20% off in your checkout. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with the first topic of the day, and that is the recommended proposed changes to the college football season, which, you know, if in case you didn't know, I cover college football. I love college football. All right, obviously, you guys know my fandom for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I've been a Buckeyes fan since I was young. A lot of things are being talked about, and we will get into that right now. So the American Football Coaches Association is recommending changes to the college football calendar that would end the season the second Monday in January. Now, we know the national championship is the last week of January, if I'm corrected. So you're in, it's an interesting one. They announced Tuesday, the board announced Tuesday, 4 proposed calendar changes: ending conference championship games, reducing open weeks and seasons from 1 to 2, which is essentially your bye week. In college football, you get 2 bye weeks. That this would essentially lower that to 1. Preventing an exclusive window for the Army and Navy game in December, but allowing postseason games to be played on the same day, and reducing the minimum number of days between games to no fewer than 6. Holy shit. I mean, this plan comes in the response to a longer college football season with 12-team college football playoff. That's how we do it now. With the possibility of 16 to a 24-team model that are being discussed by large commissioners, but it's not being is not a specific number being reported. Structuring the season this way will also better student athletes by more closely matching the academic calendar and the transportal window. So there are a couple pros and there are a couple cons to this proposal. What do I think about it? I'm more on the cons than the pros. We could start with the pros, but man, do I want to get into the cons, because there are a few things that stand out to me. But let's talk about the good thing, right? Okay, if you want to talk about athletes, we know the transfer portal comes at a weird time. A lot of these kids, a lot of these coaches are hitting transfer portals and they're negotiating deals with other schools for more money during the mid-season going into the playoffs. We saw it with Lane Kiffin last year. He should have been coaching Ole Miss in the playoffs, but instead he took a job at LSU before they had their playoff run. I hate that shit. I genuinely hate that shit. I don't like it with the players. I understand the players need to go out. They need to go to another school if they're not being used. But come on, come on. You can't have these guys hitting or coaches hitting transfer portals right before your playoff run, right in the middle of your season, all because you think it's over. So that's a pro. Yes, if it sort of quote unquote fixes the weird college football calendar, because right now the season's it's kind of a mess. It's a lot of controversy behind it. This was shortened the playoffs, reducing the bye weeks by a week. So, like I mentioned, you would in college football you get 2 bye weeks, you would get one. More playoff access. Okay, this is where I don't see a positive in it. People are going to tell me this is a positive. I think it is a fucking negative. The more playoff access, and I'll get into that when I cover the cons of this proposal. But if you want more playoff access, because even with this 12-team expansion, because I think the 4-team playoff was stupid. Especially with, I think they realized when Florida State didn't get in that year when they should have been at number 4 and Alabama got in. They want to do 12 teams. They do it, and there's still a lot of controversy. And I'll get into, again, that's the one I want to talk about the most in this. You'll start the season earlier, which, okay. And yes, you get a potential quality games. I'm giving cons and pros that me and my producer, who my guy's not here tonight. I'm doing this on my own. But we were talking about it a little bit off air. Let's talk about the cons. No conference title games. You make a whole fucking big deal since this new 12-team playoff expansion has been around that, if you win your conference championship games, the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, Pac-12, the 4 major conferences are the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. If you win those 4 conferences, you get a first-round bye in the playoffs. So what the fuck does the conference championships going to mean this year? Nothing? You have to make conference championships mean something. Killing the conference championship, those are some of the biggest games of the year. No one gives a fuck about bowl games. Nobody gives a shit about the playoffs in the first round now because you get all these dumb bullshit teams from the MAC and the fucking American Conference and the Mountain West and the Mid-American. We don't, in the Sun Belt, like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? You're getting rid of a lot of big games by not having these conference championships. And if you want to talk about ratings and money, which, I guess, I'm in that little bit of a pro wrestling mindset. That's all the fucking fans talk about nowadays. So I'm going to talk about a little bit right here. Do you know how much money you're losing on viewership, ad revenue by not doing a conference game? You like to make all these bowl games fucking themed. The Pop-Tart Bowl, the Dr. Pepper Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, all this shit. You don't think that the conference championship games are going to add more money into your greedy ass pockets? The greedy conference commissioners' pockets? Let's talk about, again, I kind of mix the revenue is a big part of it. This is the part I can't fucking stand. Let's talk about one thing that me personally, I root for Navy. I've gotten the privilege to attend sports camps there, so I always root for them. You're really going to have the Army and Navy game during the fucking playoffs? You're not going to give the Army and Navy game its own day? Are you serious? You don't think the military guys and girls want to have a weekend, a Saturday to themselves? I understand the game in reality does not mean shit. It's a cultural thing. It's a patriotic event. The purists are going to fucking hate this. The military guys are going to fucking hate this. The president of the United States is going to fucking hate this. You're going to piss off a lot of people by giving other games during the Army and Navy game. That's huge. In the college football world, that is huge. Again, I don't know if this is gonna get clipped. I don't know if this is gonna be controversial or whatever. That game, in all reality, in terms of meaningful playoff contention football, it does not mean shit. But again, it is a cultural event. It is an American patriotic event. And you piss off a lot, again, of fucking people by doing that. Let's get into this. The playoff expansion. If it goes to 16 teams, 24, who the fuck in their... This is not March Madness. This isn't basketball. Whoa, what the fuck? So you're gonna cut the conference championship games and you're just gonna add more teams to the playoffs so you get more playoff games to make up for those conference championship games in terms of revenue and viewership? Fuck you. We don't want to see Sun Belt teams and all the bullshit conferences that I just named in the playoffs. No disrespect. I don't want to see James Madison in the playoffs. I don't want to see Coastal Carolina in the fucking playoffs. I don't want to see Boise State in the playoffs. I don't want to see San Diego State in the playoffs. I don't want to see Tulane in the playoffs. South Florida, even though they had a decent season, I don't want to see them in the fucking playoffs. The playoffs are supposed to be the best of the best in college football. You adding other teams, it already is a joke when you have to have schools like Tulane and James Madison in the fucking playoffs, but we leave out schools like Michigan, or not Michigan because they fucking suck. We leave out schools like Alabama. We leave out schools like LSU. Who I can't remember off the top of my head who was fighting for that 14, 13, 12 spot. But my point is, you give it to your power conference, or those lowest conferences, what? Strength of schedule? They don't fucking play anybody. And when they do play somebody in the first round in the playoffs against a Big Ten team or an SEC team, they get fucking destroyed. It is a ridiculous proposal. It is a ridiculous committee meeting. Why the fuck do you want to have 16 to 24 teams in the playoffs? I think 12 is even too much. I think 6 to 10 is the sweet spot. Guys, the state of college football is in a shit. With this NIL shit, now they want to change everything. Look, the schedule's a fucking mess. I think we all agree. I think we all know that this schedule needs to be changed. That you cannot be playing your national championship game at the last week of January. But if you do this, you're overlapping with the NFL. And oh boy, you want to talk about viewership going down? Come on. No one. Granted, the games are going to be on Saturdays, whatever. But the playoffs, if you have it on Saturdays, Sunday, there's a lot. I don't know the specifics of the dates and all that stuff that they want to move the season. I'm just telling you reports. I'm reading reports. I'm talking about reports. At the end of the day, they're trying the college football's trying the committee's trying to fix the problem that everyone bitches and complains about, including myself. It's not the schedule. It's the playoff expansion that really, it's like, what the fuck? I don't understand the playoff expansion. I really don't. Um, but we'll see if any more news comes out about that, and then we will talk about that here in the near future when it comes out. But we will be moving on to our next topic, which is Aaron Rodgers going to be an Arizona Cardinal? I don't think so. I don't even think he's really going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, but I would be not doing my duties here if I didn't talk about that. So before we talk about that, let's hear a word from G Fuel Energy. All right, quick timeout in today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. If you're anything like me, you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee isn't cutting it anymore, this is where G Fuel comes in. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy that keeps you focused on pregame all the way through overtime. Whether I'm live, recording, or locked in the slate of games, G Fuel keeps me going. They've got a ridiculous lineups of flavors, collaborations, and a whole other group of well-known content creators a part of the movement, so you're definitely going to find one that hits. This is legit energy for creators, gamers, and sports fans who don't slow down. Use promo code PGHChris when you check out. It saves you money and supports the channel, which you guys know I appreciate more than ever. Again, that's G Fuel Energy /PGHChris, or use my promo code PGHChris for 20% off checkout. Now, let's get back into the video. Damn, it is raining cats and dogs outside. Holy shit. Oh, I don't like the rain, chat. I don't fuck with the rain. But if you're in here, if you're watching, I appreciate it. Make sure you go hit the like, subscribe, follow me on all platforms, whether you're watching me on, we are live on Instagram, or we are live on YouTube, X, and Twitch. Gonna get the kick going back up soon. For some fucking reason, my kick is being stupid. Anyway, real quick before we get into the real stuff here, the subject at hand, two other subjects that we really got to talk about. Want you guys to go follow my stats page. It is up. PGHChris Stats is up and live, ready to go. This is the former Crossbody Sports. For now, I'm putting that little side project on hold. This is just, you're going to get your football and wrestling, stats, news, just random shit. TNT, the former WCW owner and founder of CNN, Ted Turner, has obviously, passed on today. So that was the first thing we talked about. So go make sure you are following the PGHChris Stats X page. I will be the Instagram up is live, but it is still under the Crossbody Sports banner, so I do have to get that switched out and fixed and changed. But let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Now, there's rumors that he is potentially going to be an Arizona Cardinal. At this point in the offseason, he is the biggest free agent left in the market. He is the 4-time MVP who spent the last season here in Pittsburgh. Now, with the UFA tag, which you guys can go check out the video on my channel that I talked about it. It's interesting to see where how the Steelers handle the situation. At the end of the day, I feel like me, Bob, everybody else are just kind of fucking sick and tired of talking about this guy. As am I. I'm kind of getting bored of talking about Rodgers until he comes. Because here's my thing. one thing that I love to do making content. I've been doing this for a long time. I had a platform much bigger than the one I have right now. It was taken down back in 2023 for personal reasons. But one thing I loved to do was game plan and talk about, what I want to see in all this. I can't do that offensively for the Steelers. That's what I like to do with the offseason. Why? It's because this fucking clown has not made a decision. Now, Brooke Pryor from ESPN, she is the Steelers reporter, analyst, and writer, which I respect her work. If anybody I'm taking serious from if anybody on ESPN I'm taking serious that talks about Pittsburgh ball at this day and age, it is Brooke, because she is in the locker room. She's there in Pittsburgh every day. So I give Brooke Pryor credit. She said that, the rookies, they did some voluntary little mini camp things before the draft. Will Howard was taking the QB1 reps, according to source says. I also got source that when they do the training camps here soon, the OTAs, Will Howard will also be taking the first team reps, but it is going to be a battle. Now, if Rodgers comes in, he sweeps that up under the rug. He takes it. At the end of the day, look, Kendrick Bourne can go on Twitter all he wants and say, Aaron Rodgers, we're coming, we're here for you, which is not happening. I mean, it's not happening. If you guys don't know the tweet I'm talking about, this was it. This was it. Kendrick Bourne retweeted or whatever. He wants Aaron Rodgers to go to Arizona. I don't see it happening. Not that I want Aaron Rodgers to come. I think that the Steelers organization wants Aaron Rodgers to come. But look, the Cardinals don't have really. They're kind of in the same boat as the Steelers. That's why this is so. This is why this is such a big talking point, because the quarterbacks for Arizona, they have 4. They have Jacoby Brissett. He's gonna make the team. Gardner Minshew, he's gonna make the team. Keaton Slavis, he's gonna get cut, and then they got the 3rd round rookie, runner-up national champion quarterback Carson Beck out of Miami, who's at Georgia. He's gonna make the team. You add Rodgers in there, you obviously have to cut one of those guys, and I'm being honest, I'm cutting Gardner Minshew. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And look, Kendrick Bourne just signed a deal with the Cardinals back in March. He was with San Francisco last year. So I don't know. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State Buckeye. They do have a type tight end in the league in Trey McBride. They got Jeremiah Love in the 3rd overall pick, and they have Michael Wilson, also in that wide receiver group there. So it's an interesting conversation. I think if he's gonna play, it's leaning more towards Pittsburgh. I mean, McCarthy's there. Obviously, he has that. I think for the Cardinals, either their offensive coordinator, their quarterbacks coach, one of the two, something along the lines was his coach, quarterbacks coach or O-line in New York and the Jets, and they had that relationship. But again, I think he's going to want to run it back with the head coach he won a Super Bowl with. He played with DK last year. He was in the Steelers last year. He has Michael Pittman, Gurmy Bernard. I mean, Pat Freiermuth. I truly think he stays in Pittsburgh. I don't even think he retires. And it was I was it was and his name's Nathaniel Hackett, who's the offensive coordinator at um at Arizona, and they're friends. They're friends. So we'll see, chat. I don't think it's gonna happen. Um, they don't have quarterbacks. They got some offense. You could argue, you could have the conversation. That that receiving core out there in Arizona is much stronger than Pittsburgh. Um, so chat, we'll see. We're gonna have to wait and see with that one. It's gonna be interesting. Um, I think it needs to be soon. Needs to be soon because I'm starting to lose my fucking patience. When it comes to this Rodgers and Pittsburgh thing, I have him telling me he needs to man up, make a decision. If not, kick rocks. Kick fucking rocks. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Before we talk about our last topic of the day, one more word from G Fuel, and we will talk about something that I find very cringe, and that's ESPN talking about pro wrestling on their shows when I come back. All right, quick time. All right. So everybody knows that I very, very much enjoy the ESPN regime. I enjoy Get Up. I enjoy First Take. Sports Center is on my TV 24/7. I gotta be honest. As a fan, diehard fan of ESPN, obviously sports, obviously diehard fan of professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that I believe that professional wrestlers, WWE, Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman, Logan Paul, I think it is all very fucking cringe when all of these people go out there and promote WWE on ESPN. You have Sports Center anchors out there asking Charlotte Flair, how do you bounce back from a loss like this? And obviously, with Jacob and all these people, they're trying to fucking answer this, not trying to sound like a mark. They know it's ridiculous. Stephen A. Smith asking Paul Heyman, what can fans expect? Or was it Mike Greenberg on Get Up? What can fans expect? Stephen A. Smith asking Paul Heyman, what does it take to be a Paul Heyman guy? Look, I understand that they're trying to give this a sports feeling. I'm here to break your guys' hearts and tell you guys that professional wrestling is not a fucking sport. It is not. It is a TV show. These are actors. It is very cringy. It's very cringy. Paul Heyman does a good job. But this is my thing. If you're going to have this, if you're going to have ESPN and WWE and their crossovers on their shows, have a dedicated show to professional wrestling. WWE. Have one give somebody, I don't like the guy. Get Peter Rosenberg and somebody else of his choosing to go on something on ESPN. whether it's after the pay-per-views, after Monday Night Raw, something somewhere, dedicated pro wrestling analysts. I'm fucking sick and tired of watching Mike Greenberg and Stephen A. Smith, two guys who I respect, who I watch every single morning since I was a fucking kid, who has a little bit of inspiration on doing what this stuff that it is that I do. And it's very cringy to, as a pro wrestling fan, to watch listen to these questions being asked. I mean, it's cringy. I gotta be honest. What can fans expect? And then we're getting. This is the thing. WWE or the sports fans tear this shit apart because you're really giving sports fans. And I'm a sports fan. I'm gonna be honest. I feel the same way. Even as a WWE fan, because Busted Open is on during this time. If I want to go listen to pro wrestling coverage, which I do this simultaneously while I'll be at work, or I'll be on my computer if I have an off day or a half day, and I'll have SiriusXM on my computer and I'll have the ESPN there. I don't want to see these wrestlers on ESPN. We're in the middle of the NHL playoffs. We're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. We're in the middle of the NBA offseason. We're in the middle of the beginning, almost middle way of the MLB season. And they're forcing WWE coverage down these people's fucking throats. You think Mike Greenberg, look, Stephen A. Smith, I love Stephen A. Smith. Again, he's a hero of mine when it comes to sports analyzing and media and all that stuff. But he doesn't know a single fucking thing about pro wrestling. You're insulting pro wrestling fans by having this guy go out there and say, I've been watching pro wrestling since the Bruno Sammartino days. That's what all these fucking... If you actually aren't above the age of 50, I do not believe you. You're a casual. If you are above 50 years old, I believe that. But for somebody like, correct me, how old is Stephen A. Smith? Let's check that out right now. I'm curious. How old is Stephen A. Smith? I want to know that. He's 58. 19. Okay, Stephen A's. Now we're gonna do a little bit of pocket. We're gonna do a little bit of conspiracy, right? Stephen A. Smith is 58 years old. He was born in 1967. Okay, let me pull up another tab. Bruno Sammartino. Right. Bruno Sammartino. I'm trying to. Where is his? Does he have a Wikipedia? Okay. Let's talk about his wrestling career, his early wrestling career from 68. Okay. Again, Stephen A. Smith is born in 67. Early part of Bruno's career, Stephen A. Smith isn't even born yet. He goes into the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Again, Stephen A. Smith is not watching the Worldwide Wrestling Federation even in 1981, when Stephen A. Smith would probably be a teenager in middle school. 1984, when he comes back to WWF. Okay, Stephen A. Smith, if this guy around this time, it says he was on a basketball scholarship and he was doing the Philadelphia Inquirer, you think Stephen A. Smith has time to watch Roddy Piper in the early 80s, Bruno Sammartino in the mid 80s, late 80s, when this guy's trying to become the guy he is now? It's all bullshit. These ESPN analysts don't know shit about this sport. I think the presentation's cool. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. There's obviously being pitches and all this stuff that Stephen A. Smith is going to be. Just look at this. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit if I get a mini strike or something. You guys have got to listen to this.
Identifying once-in-a-generation talent. What did you see in Bron Breakker that told you he's not just the future, but he is.
He is looking down at his fucking notes.
It's inevitable right now.
Well, you're right. I'm a Hall of
What they can expect. What can they expect to see Saturday night?
What can they expect to see Saturday night? The fucking what does Paul Heyman say?
If they tune in.
Well, you expect to see the unexpected because in WWE, surprises are the norm.
That's all these wrestlers say. That's the best answer that you can give them. It's a surprise. That's what makes this thing best. It's a script. Every single question that these ESPN anchors ask these pro wrestlers, it's a script. They cannot tell you. It is confidential information. They signed that on their contracts. Paul Heyman is an executive. He ain't gonna tell you what to expect. He's gonna tell you to pay the $39.99 that you fuckfaces charge and watch it. And by the way, you're charging us $39, $29.99, however the fuck much money it is, for 3 matches. And you're giving us 2 good matches. The only 2 good matches that I think are even worth fucking watching besides the main event, for free. I'm not paying $29 to see fucking Danhausen and Kit Wilson. That is a SmackDown match. Why the fuck you like to do this bullshit with the fucking gingerbread man and all this crap? You couldn't have done this on Friday Night SmackDown, but no, we got to pay $29.99 for that. Get the fuck out of here. Shout out to my VPN. You guys can do whatever you want to crack this shit down. I know how to avoid it. I'm not going to tell my ways because then everybody else is going to start fucking doing it. Shout out to my VPN. Shout out to Netflix. I love ESPN, but when it comes to professional wrestling, you motherfuckers aren't getting a dime out of me. And I can afford to pay it. But I have everything I need on an app called YouTube TV, and stop being greedy and just add the ESPN Unlimited on there. Chat. This ESPN and WWE relationship, they're tied for a little bit, but it's not, I don't think. And look, a lot of even their writers, their own people think that this shit's fucking garbage. Their promotions are garbage. They have garbage analysts asking questions, garbage prices, garbage fucking creative. Oh, but AEW, I'm not talking about AEW. Do you see the fucking anywhere in my title, AEW? I will talk about AEW tonight at 11 o'clock over on the Sports Jedi Network with my guy Hoss, which you guys better get your asses over there and watch. But I'm not talking about AEW. So fuck off with that. I'm talking about the WWE and ESPN. This shit is fucking garbage. From creative, from the production, everything about this relationship sucks. It sucks so bad that the one guy in your company, ESPN, Pat McAfee, who I respect, he was there in the black and gold days, he's had matches, whatever, and you ran him off. The fans ran him off. Because you put him in a fucking story that didn't need him in it because your creative sucks. And that's the truth. That's nothing but the truth. And that's the way I feel. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to say goodbye here today on a Wednesday afternoon. Don't forget tonight at 11, since AEW wants to pull a 3-hour show tonight, I will be live on the Sports Channel Network at 11 o'clock. 11:05 at the latest with my guy Hoss Knucklebrew. We will be doing the AEW Dynamite post show like we do on every Wednesday. Make you guys go check that out. I appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you guys go subscribe, follow on all platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channels you see on the screen, and I will see you guys later on this week. I'll do a stream. I'll do like a reaction stream like I did last week. I'll probably do that Friday or Saturday or something, but I will have videos up on the channel.